2, 1. We're rocking and rolling, Jonathan. We are rocking and rolling. Greetings, everyone. It
Yeah,
is Wednesday. I don't even know what the date is, John. I think it's the 10th. It's
I believe
Wednesday,
it is.
May 10th. And I have a special guest with me today, Jonathan Farris.
Oh,
And
I thought you were going to be introducing yourself. I was giving you a hand. Uncle B a hand.
now we should both get off camera and just put your wife on and let her do the rest of the live stream. I think everyone would.
I tell we way appreciate that. Although I would say, I always try to figure out who the number one ambassador is, and I really think it's you, Uncle B. You're the number one. You're our number one ambassador for Epic Cash.
Well, thank you. I'm just a stubborn talker. I like to talk and I like to evangelize and spread the gospel according to Epic Cash, because I think it is just world changing. I learned like maybe 10, 11 days ago, Jonathan, that there's a world outside of the United States. And,
yeah.
and like
Right.
people are really getting a lot of traction worldwide, and here I thought my whole life that there's just nothing more in the United States. I'm joking, everyone. I'm joking. We're just a little peon in the big picture. And that's why I think it has been genius that we as a community have really focused on international adoption. And the cool thing to me is, if you think about Africa, for example,
Yeah.
Jonathan, I'm telling you, these guys are smarter than the average bear, I think, because they when their currencies went to hell, you know what they started trading in? Orange cellular minutes.
Right.
That became their currency. And when you think about it, what is currency? P.S. Shout out Bill Still, Money Masters, legend. He is now in the Epic Cash community, and it is so awesome. We're going to talk about Money Masters 2, picking up where he left off in his world-changing series up to today, where Epic Cash is. And I think if we lead the witness a little bit, Jonathan, that maybe he'll really give a good, hard, critical look at Epic Cash really being the world's reserve currency, or at least having the attributes to be there. Now, part of that means people are going to be using it, right?
Sure.
You know very well, because you came to Austin with me and others, that Mike Adams, we're in consideration to becoming an asset that he would accept for payment for food and all of his goods and services.
Yeah, I want to stop you just speaking to that for 1 second. I actually appreciate the approach they've taken, the Health Ranger group, which obviously is bigger than Mike Adams, but that entire community and that group, the way they've approached this, and of course, going back to Bill, like you just mentioned, to me, it's a wonderful, we welcome this. The Epic community welcomes, please take a deep dive into looking into Epic Cash, look at the whole ecosystem, not just, it's not just a coin. Something we've been trying to share with the platform now and the community for years, but we are at the pivotal point. I mean, we're at a pivotal point, not just for the Epic community and the Epic ecosystem, but in the world. We're at a critical, shifting point that's giving opportunity. It's giving opportunity for everybody. And so these individuals and these communities like Health Ranger and Mike Adams, Bill, these other groups that are looking into it, what they're doing is evaluating all of the years of foundational implementations that direct the entire ecosystem, and they're doing their best to shoot holes in it, which is great. We welcome it. Please do. One of the things you had asked me, I don't know how long ago on one of the shows, what was the most attractive thing about Epic Cash to me?
Right.
And at the time, my answer was the availability of the ecosystem to grow and shift with technology in the now. And
I love that. Yeah.
it really, unlike other platforms, and again, I'm a little more liberal in my views of cryptocurrency, in the sense of I'm open to the technology behind many different crypto
Yep.
spaces, and appreciate the different aspects of the tech, and see some of the different elements of utilization for each, but
Right.
or not, or the shit coins, like you have found many shit coins that
Yeah.
they don't hold the weight. They're useless. But when we look at Epic Cash and the ecosystem, now we recognize not only do we have this superior foundation,
Yes.
but we have a superior availability to adopt and change. So we're inviting these platforms in, please shoot holes. And then
That's
we
right.
watched it, you and I and others in the ecosystem now have watched in real time. Shout out to Darkstar, Sky King, Yoga,
Yep.
Max, everybody. Shout out to all of them. Mother Trucker, the ones that are really diving in, and then as soon as the hole gets shot, it's like the bandages on the back and on the front get slapped on right away with the new technology. Yeah, those of us with the oar in the water, that's right. You can see it in real time, the tech and Epic ecosystem adopt to the tech. That, to me, is something that the world is talking about. The world is talking about it.
Yes. And what I love that Yoga says, and I may screw this up, Yoga, but it's like, look, we're agnostic to the tech. Yeah. If it doesn't suck, we'll adopt it.
That's right. Yeah. And the fact that we can, because there's other major platforms, major coins out, they can't do that. They can't adopt with the tech. They were written 12 years ago. They don't have the availability. And even the tech that they're implementing, if you take a deep dive, if you're willing to take the deep dive, you're going to discover that even with the updated text that they're trying to come alongside, and it's really like a sidebar next to the ancient tech.
Yes.
It doesn't solve the critical problems that is required for mass world and global adoption. It really doesn't. If they're on anybody that's honest with that, but Epic does.
Are you telling me that if I have a Model T and I put a Maserati engine in the back seat, that's not going to?
It's not even in the back, but it's not even in the back seat, Uncle V. It's literally like a sidecar motorcycle, and they're literally telling you to jump out of the window while it's driving to get into the sidecar, and it's gonna be okay. So no, I again, it's not slamming other products or even the tech. We respect it. And as Yoga says, we'll use it. If it's good, if it doesn't suck, we'll use it. The fact that we can is what we should talk about.
Yes. Can it? Well, I want to share with you a soundbite. I had a conversation last night with Mike Adams, and look, final decisions haven't been made, but I'm feeling pretty good that based on his engagement and stuff. And he threw out one soundbite last night that just kind of knocked me back.
Right on.
And it's Epic Cash will be backed by food.
That's exactly.
Think about that.
That's my dream. That's my dream. Again, all of these things are happening in reality, like real-time reality. Yeah. And I hope the Epic community is taking your platform, number one ambassador platform here, and sharing it with everybody outside of not just those that already know, but like really saying, guys, like send it to your friends and go, hey, you better wake up right now.
Yes.
It's happening, and it's being connected to resources, global resources, not just one food product, but global resources.
Right.
And because of that, now the operational aspects are branching out, and we are seeing the different countries within Africa. And you know what? Shout out to the guys in Africa right now that are watching, in other parts, in Europe, Switzerland. Amazing. We're seeing all the connections now. And shout out to all of you, because what they're doing is heading into the merchants. And I've been, to Africa. I've visited countries there in Africa. I spent time walking the markets, buying in the markets. I know that environment is so available, and seeing the Epic community in these environments beginning to work in tandem, not just with Epic supporters, but merchants, and saying, hey, let me show you how we can increase the value, not only of your sales, but the value of holdings and building of wealth. And they're doing it through the Epic Cash platform. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's astonishing. But the cool thing, and then, which is why I love me some Africans,
Yeah, me too.
is that you know, when the going got tough, they didn't just go to sugar daddy government. They
That's
said,
right.
no, you know what? We
That's
have
right.
these minutes on our phone. We can trade. I want to buy that banana for 10 minutes or whatever it is. You know, it had value. Now that so many of them, entrepreneurs, I'll just call them, their get it factor is through the roof. And so they have adopted Epic Cash. They've studied it. They've done the deep dive. They have been right there with the wallets and really pioneers going out to these merchants. And I know the exciting thing is, and I love me some Jonathan Farris too, because Jonathan has just rich experience with project and people management in like a huge way. And he stepped up and he grabbed his oar and said, look, let me help these people formulate a step and repeat strategy to be able to get the support they need to launch their entrepreneurial visions. Do I have that right?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to take credit. I'll say thank you for the kind words, but I hesitate to mention names, but I will mention Mother Trucker's name on here, because building the communications, the global communications now, putting that platform together through Telegram so that there can be a consensus of global collaborations. So when we're looking at projects now, it's not something that is a one-off, or we're trying to bring that project to explain it to another group. Now we have a platform where everybody can see globally what interactions are working in different areas, different countries. And yes, we now have, of course, the projects that we're going to present today. We now have a collaborative work where we can see from a community standpoint, hey, these are the individuals that have their oars in the water. They are already engaged in Epic. They're doing this. What we're supporting, we're just coming alongside something that's already being done. So we're not trying to create a market. We're just enhancing the market that's already happening.
You know what?
That's a big deal. That's a
huge deal. What I admire most is, and we've seen it in the chat so many times, to where you'll have some seagulls drive by and they'll take a little dump saying, hey, if you give me X, I'll do this for you. What I love about the people and the projects, Batuan, he was like on the bleeding edge of putting his leading with his chin, not his hand. Is he and his wife and many of the African entrepreneurs, they just went out and they started, I'm not even going to say my favorite line, start ugly. They literally, they went out there and they made things happen. They became these epic evangelists, to where I sit back and I'm like, my gosh, how long did it take me, Uncle V, to be able to understand Epic Cash as well as they have in like 3 or 4 weeks? Well,
you've got, think about, of course, we know desperation is a very becomes a creative process. It opens up creativity. It opens up an open mind that wouldn't be there otherwise. And what's tragic oftentimes in America, the Americas, when we sit here, our system is probably actually worse when it comes to the reality of our debt. Well, it is worse, actually. I'm not probably it is worse. We just have the availability to prop up a lie better.
That's right.
That's right. All that's happening. And so because of these individuals, you think about, if you're in Nigeria, Benin, which is right next door there, where some of these major epicenters are taking off. If you're there and your president actually, if our president would be honest, and that's not a slam politically towards any party, by the way, I'm saying their president got up in Nigeria, was very honest and said, hey, listen, global currencies are shifting, changing, and things are failing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you better go ahead and get yourself prepared. Meanwhile, the very system he's talking about on the other side of the ocean, our leadership gets up and says, we had the best job market we've ever had, and things are going great. Don't worry about the 7 banks that failed this month, the last 2 months. Don't worry about the billions and billions of dollars that flew away overnight and that you'll never be able to see again. We'll keep printing things. So, I mean, if you had honesty, it might create a real desperation of understanding of where.
Oh, you just locked up. You're a handsome fella, but you kind of look like if you can hear me, and if you have to back out and come back in, go ahead and do that. I just want to say hello to Ashley M. Welcome, Ashley M. You're new to the program, new to Epic Cash. We welcome you. I see a lot of folks in the chat. Mother Trucker, Monkman, 2 legends. It's just amazing. I love this. Cadillac Crypto. There are just so many people in here. I don't know, Daniel Berry, what the context is. Chiefs 2003 Lakers. Everyone might want to keep an eye on that. Make sure that's not a spammer. Let's keep it Epic Cash, folks. But anyway, what we're talking about is Epic Cash adoption worldwide. And that's a big deal. The vision behind Epic Cash to me is still surreal. We were translating our documents, beginning 2 years ago into, I think we're over maybe close to 70 different languages right now. And I joke saying, well, I thought English was, the world's reserve language. And of course it's not. But if you're going to grow a special project that can go worldwide, and if you do have this big, hairy goal of being the world's reserve currency, don't you think that folks should be able to read all of our documentation in their own language? And so that's what we've done. And I think it is just visionary, because what happened is you have, it's like lighting a fuse. And then you have this flashpoint, right? To where you have somebody in Nigeria that just is an entrepreneur and has such a high intellect and get it factor, and they start figuring stuff out themselves. Batuan started figuring things out himself and his wife. And then all of a sudden, the rest of us see this and say, whoa, there's kind of a model there that maybe can be step and repeat. And that's where we are today. And I hope Jonathan can come back. This is titled, let me see, I have something that I need to click dismiss, called Epic Cash Spreads to the World. And we're going to share with you 6 projects. So we now have a process of being able to vet projects to present to the community. And we'll present to the community. And the thing is, all of these projects aren't huge asks, right? That's the nice thing. So it's almost like I think Jonathan said, look, if every one of our community members donated 5 Epic each, all 6 of these could be funded. Isn't that awesome? I mean, that's awesome. Here he comes again. I'm going to double check that to make sure I got that right. But anyway, I was talking to Tillman in the chat, Jonathan, and anyway, Tillman, I don't care what you were saying negative about Jonathan. I think he's a really good guy. Just kidding. Tillman is an absolute legend. I'm being interviewed by Leah Heilpern this coming Tuesday down in Miami. She wrote she wrote Undressing Bitcoin. She is very much an activist in many ways, all the right ways. I think I share her worldview on most everything. You know, but her foundation is Bitcoin. And recently she was talking about all the positive attributes of Bitcoin. And but she did, I think we're making a little bit of a dent. Max did interview her for DNA of Bitcoin. That's where the relationship started. But now she's thrown out into the airwaves, and she's really popular, everyone. Like,
Yeah.
she just hit 600,000 Twitter followers, and she's very smart, very, very smart. And just has a little bit of confirmation bias on the orange coin, but we're gonna work on that. But she started saying that she has realized that while Bitcoin is confidential, it's not private, and so she's starting to become interested in some privacy coins. And you know what? When you are in that BTC maxi, I'll say it, cult, she's not going to win a lot of friends in that world, right? Because it's either Bitcoin or shitcoin. So Leia, if you're watching this, I doubt you are, but I just want to say I admire your moxie to be able to use your critical thinking skills that are so plenty, and at least have an open enough mind to be able to have a friendly conversation about the attributes of Bitcoin, the attributes of Epic Cash, pair, compare, and let's just have the conversation. And that's what we're going to have. And because I'm just me, you have to dumb things down so that I'll understand it. I have enlisted my good friend, community member, Tillman, who is an amazing writer. Amazing writer. Tillman, in the chat, please put your Substack in there so people can go subscribe to you. But he has written so many wonderful articles. As a matter of fact, in a private chat that we have going with Mike Adams made it a point to call out Tillman and say, I am learning so much from your writing.
Yeah, so, you did. I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I read that. Yeah.
Amazing. So Tillman is helping me.
Yeah.
It's almost feels a little bit like cheating, but he's going through the attributes and he's unpacking, what's good, what's bad about both, pair, compare. And I really value that because, Jonathan, I'm not Max.
Yeah.
I don't have a supercomputer of a brain. So I really am grateful, Tillman. You rock. And I think the community is just going to, and I'm reading how you're writing the points and everything. It's very, very, I'm not going in there, like a peacock. No, we're not going there. It's just going to be, I want to present facts. Enrique is the other one who's arming me with so much from the.
Oh, he's done amazing work. Yeah. The comparable work that he's done is, it's the top of the world work. Amazing.
It's top of the world. And last night on the live stream that I had with Ab at fakeologist.com, if anybody wants to go watch it, they can go to fakeologist.com and it'll be last night's live stream. But I presented. You're familiar with Bill Parcells, right, Jonathan?
Oh, yeah, sure.
The famous football coach.
Yeah.
And you know what he says? It's my favorite line of his. He says, you are what your record says you are. Beautiful. And so that's the line I'm going to use in presenting Enrique's work, right?
Yeah.
Let's call it spade a spade. This is math. These are numbers. And I'm going to invoke the great Bill Parcells. You are what your record says you are. Let's take a look over the last 3 years where Bitcoin. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I continue to encourage people. That's what I was saying before I think they may have cut me off because I started talking about the government stuff. But anyway, I didn't think you would do that. But
I sure did.
Yeah, when you just look at numbers, when you start to look at numbers, and that's why we're saying, please, we invite you. We're not saying we are have everything completely solved right now. We're a growing ecosystem.
Yeah.
What we're saying is the beautiful structure, like otherworldly. I say it's otherworldly structure that was built into the ecosystem. It transcends individuals. It transcends a individual. There's no, one person that has been responsible for this. It's an ecosystem that came from knowledge that transcends one mind, right? And because of that, we're able to grow. We're able to grow, and that's important. That we're able to navigate the new technologies, the areas that we discover that say that once some tech gets implemented that is, the next level tech, we're like, oh, okay, so it can adopt that piece of information for people to understand. And then going back and looking, Enrique's work is like, I mean, it's just numbers and they don't lie. Like there's no lies there. That's just follow the track record. And we are our record.
Here's a data point. Remember when the boogie virus hit and the pandemic hit?
How many times did you get it?
Yeah. As many times as I wore my mask, which was zero. Was when there was I believe it was on the March 20th or 22nd or whatever, to where Bitcoin went down by half because everybody thought the world was over, right? And all of the other shit coins followed, right? So I think that's a pretty good starting place 3 years ago to be able to determine how have the coins fared over time, right? So what Enrique did is he built a computer model and he went to the top 20 layer one coins, and then he did another one, top 20 privacy coins. But I just want to talk about the layer one coins. Do you know? So somebody smarter than me can add up over 3 years. If you put 20, I believe it's if you put $20 a day into each coin, right? And you track that. So your dollar cost averaging on a daily basis over those 3 years up to this point in time, I believe it's either $22,000 or $28,000 that would be totally, invested in each of those coins. Well, get this. How did Bitcoin do? If you did that with Bitcoin, what you would have is $9,800. Okay. Now you had 22,000 in it. Now you have $9,800. Monero, it's you have like $3,000, and then you have all of these other coins to where you've just lost your ass. Mm-hmm. You know how much? Take a guess, Jonathan. How much that 20?
I don't want to take a guess because I saw the report, but I know I know it was like a couple hundred, like
$250,000.
Yeah, a couple $100,000. Yeah.
Everyone, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. Dollar cost averaging on a daily basis since the crash, the boogie virus crash, up to today, you would have $28,000. I'm saying it could be 22. I'll find out before the Leia interview. And if you're a Bitcoin maxi and everything else is a shit coin, put me on the shit coin team. Because they have $9,800, so they lost 20 grand, and we have $250,000, so we made unrealized profits. It's an exercise, but we made $200,000. We have kicked ass, everyone. We are the number 2 performing crypto asset in the world over the last 3 years. Shiba, and then I'm sorry, number 2 was Hex, and we're number 3.
Yeah, but remember, that's not a coin. You're comparing a token versus a coin there. So be careful on that.
Great point.
We would be the number 1 coin.
Yes. Thank you. So we're the number 1 layer 1 coin. Yes. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, you're right. Thank you. Number 1.
It's actually an important fact. And again, you're just looking at numbers here. So if you can lay aside, I understand why people have their favorites, and I understand why people have, the marketing, all the marketing that's gone behind some of these names that like you just mentioned, Bitcoin, Monero, XRP, whatever it is. There's so much news and so much marketing. But if you can set the emotion aside and just look at numbers, look at facts, you'll discover that there is, we're coming in on the coin side of things, number one.
Unbelievable. That's it's just beautiful. So, and look, we are undiscovered.
Right.
We're undiscovered
because we didn't do a pump and dump.
No,
we didn't do a pump. There's not been anything except organic involvement from the community. That's really why I asked to jump on here today with you.
Yes.
Because I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that there's no singularity, pun intended on that word,
right,
for a magic fund that is building the epic ecosystem. It's literally us. It's the community, and it's been all organic. And over the last 5 years, we're seeing now that just word to mouth, daily usage. I don't know if you've shared what you've done transaction wise, where you're able to do I don't even want to give it away because I don't want to take away what happened, but I watched it with my own eyes, tangible goods being transferred with Epic Cash. I'm watching, real resources, and now we're seeing it happen across the globe. But
you can share. What did you see?
I saw physical gold being purchased by Epic, and within 2 minutes, from one wallet transferred to the next wallet, I saw somebody's hand being handed gold coins for $8,000 worth of Epic Cash going out of Uncle V's wallet. Well, it's peer-to-peer, it's private. I didn't want to give that information, but that's your information. But I watched it with my own eyes.
Wait. What coins?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. And what gold?
Allegedly, everyone he saw.
Right. None of that exists. Well, the truth is, that's the beauty of it. None of that exists, and rightfully so. But by the way, rightfully so. That was your business. If you wanted to do that in front of me, you could have. If you didn't want to do that in front of me, you didn't have to. And that's the beauty of it. That's wonderful.
But when I do have to say, because we've kind of gone through, some tech ups and downs with the Epic Pay wallet. It was,
and we'll continue to.
Yeah, it was one of those things to where I hit send, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Boom.
But it happened.
Yeah, within 2 minutes.
I watched it happen. Yeah, I'll speak to that real quick too. Like, listen, those of you that are exercising the wallet, or you're dealing with, struggles, learning the wallet and the ins and outs of it. For those of us that were early on crypto space, back 8, 9, 10 years ago, I can assure you that the transactions that are happening, even though they may not go off exactly how you want to in the immediate, but it's going pretty good, by the way. That I saw yesterday alone. I don't know if we've given, you're talking about you want to use the word lightning as a pun intended. We're moving into lightning mode with Epic,
Yes. And, by the way, a quick update. Thank you for reminding me. Everybody who has an Epic Pay wallet, please go into your app store and update it, because now it is so lightning fast. We were doing transactions back and forth to each other. Like, literally, it shows you hit send, and then it goes, instead of, if the other person has a wallet open, especially if they have it open, what it says is waiting for confirmations within like seconds. So that is as fast can be. And
it's happening.
And then the ping thing happens within 90 seconds. I mean, it was so fast. And it was like,
this is so huge, comparatively speaking, to what was, again, operations of 10 years ago. And I want to say too, that, while you may have a few challenges as we continue to perfect the tech, remember that when that tech gets more perfected, the price of Epic is going to jump. So, it's going to jump exponentially.
Yes.
And you have some moments in time right now that are unique for entry points that you're not going to regret. Say it that way.
Do you know what I just made up in my head?
Yeah.
Just now.
Go for it.
The trials and tribulations that you go through today, which really isn't that hard, everyone. But
Yeah,
the trials and tribulations that you go through today, will provide you what I have always called embrace the suck reward, right?
Yes.
If you just embrace the suck and do it, you're going to be rewarded handsomely. Or you can wait. And I have a person in my life who he's this guy. Dude has a huge net worth. He's epic curious, but it's hard and stuff. Right. And he literally said the words to me, plus it's a micro cap. He goes, you know what? I'll start paying attention to it when it's like $25. And I'm like, okay. Everybody gets the price of epic they deserve, I guess.
That's right.
Isn't that amazing? People will start noticing us. We'll go up into once we break the top 100. That's going to be when people start saying, they'll start lining up for it. That you can't give the shit away at 30 cents, but when it's $100, there's going to be people mile around the corner.
Well, now that you bring up giving, I'll be one that'll take Epic at 30 cents right now. I'll go to my bank right now and pull every bit of money I've got for Epic at 30 cents if somebody's willing to sell it to me at 30 cents today.
Exactly.
But anyway, so the giving platform, that's what I was going to get back to. The community is us, guys. And I know now we've got probably 4,000 or 5,000 people that come into this particular, they sit and hear this. But I would like to challenge, and the Epic community would like to challenge to pick up some of these projects with us. We have some really easy ones. I've been spreading the message that when a lot of people carry the weight, it becomes really light. The weight is very light. When a lot of people are carrying the weight together, the weight gets really light. And it's going to be so light today. The ask is real simple. With the 4,000 or 5,000 people that will see this, that are part of the Epic community, we have 6 projects. There's more projects behind this, but there's six projects that have been vetted. The ones that will be helping the volunteers that will be leading in these different countries. I believe these projects delegate to 4 or 5 countries, but the individuals that are volunteering to lead these endeavors, these marketing endeavors, you can see the project. They've all been vetted. Not only have they been vetted, they have obtainable goals that the community can celebrate together.
Yes.
And also learn about together. So this isn't somebody just doing something, on their own, asking for help from the Epic community. This isn't even Uncle V and me. These are different parts of the country. There's 4 different countries, 5 different countries involved.
In the spirit of full disclosure, the first time I saw this was about 10 minutes before this live stream went on.
I was going to say this has been being worked on since the day Mother Trucker and Enrique and other leaders, volunteers have established that world collaboration. Because of that establishment, now communications are being centralized, communications are being formalized.
Yes.
And the Epic community, as you know, there's no boss, there's no single voice for Epic. We're all here together, growing this together.
Yeah.
And this actually has been vetted by all the ones that volunteered to vet it and get to know the individuals that are leading it. We've already tested some of these projects, but you can see the amounts are very, very small.
Let's one thing that I've learned, you throw up a PDF and you don't give it context, it'll go right over people's heads. So I'm going to read this first page because then we can look at the projects. And I would say, so we talked, John, before. It's just what I do for my day job. I immediately go to the first 2 sentences and I see day, period, and then no space for we. So this has not been final edited, but this.
Well, remember, Uncle V, these are people that English may not be their very first. Okay.
100%. Yes. Okay. I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just showing people that this is what the sausage making process looks like, right?
Right on.
Is the enemy of progress is perfection, right? And so
Right on.
I talk a lot about start ugly. This is by no means ugly, but I'm saying the reason why I wanted to say it is people are going to see it on the screen and their eyes may go to that, initially and so I'm asking you is to recognize, or let me put it a different way. If somebody told me, my wife is Russian, if somebody told me I had to prepare a proposal in Russian,
Right.
I bet you Google Translate, it probably wouldn't look so good on the other side. So
Right on.
give everyone a break. That's what I'm suggesting. All right. Entry. Epic Cash is in our community continues to grow every day. We all know that the developer team and volunteers are behind this growth. The purpose of this document is to gather support for people who can encourage the community to grow further and create local vendors in different countries. We prepared a presentation by bringing together 6 different project activities in 4 countries. Awesome. This will enable our community to move forward actively in more countries. Important. The owners of the 6 projects to be done in this document have reached the sellers to purchase the materials required for the projects with Epic Cash. So what they're saying is they're not going in, let's just say this is for the US. It's not, but what they're saying is the entrepreneurs, I would change the owners to entrepreneurs of these 6 projects, they have to go out and acquire materials and T-shirts and everything, signs, whatever, handouts. They have gotten the vendors that produce them to agree to accept in Epic Cash. So this is a huge use case. We know how generous our community is. I would like to state that we have a chance to reach more people with these projects and to reach new businesses that will accept payments with Epic in different countries. Brief information on the projects given below. Now we're going to go into the first project. And why don't you walk us through just kind of how this is now organized and laid out and consistent, Jonathan?
Sure. This is Benin, and we're picking projects that are strategic into greatest reach. If you look at the summary here, basically what they've done, and this is coming again from ambassadors, groups, and volunteers that have encouraged in conversation to say, hey, look, there's a lot of things that we can do to market Epic, and we should do them all. But here are some very strategic things that we can get Epic Cash to make it make sense so that people can get supplies and things. So here you see the vendors already accepting Epic now, and they're putting together an entire project where the businesses of that particular locale, and if you've been to Africa and you're familiar with the markets, the way that their markets operate, what happens is if one vendor starts to pick up a medium of exchange, what it does is it kind of starts to, it becomes like cyclical. Each vendor will start to operate this way so they can share with each other.
Yes.
And transfer, just like you were speaking about the cell phone minutes, getting creative like that, knowing that they have a system of value that they'll be able to exchange on multiple platforms. Thank you to Change Now, Coming Coins, to all these other groups that are now picking up Epic. And we got another big one yesterday we found out about, not able to sell it yet, but huge things happening. What you see here is exactly what we asked them to do. These guys are like rock stars.
Yeah.
If you look at the request, what's the amount here for this one? Something like.
All right. So the project costs $2,613 worth of Epic. So that's currently, I don't know what, around 2,159 coins. So basically, if Epic goes to $2, that becomes 1,300 coins. Is that right? Yeah. 1,300 coins. So you can see how nice it is for an appreciating asset. But right now you're looking at however many coins it takes to be able to raise these funds They have budgeted, they have done the work. Thank you, Jonathan, for having them go through the exercise, and Enrique and Mother Trucker. They've done the work to be able to budget it out and provide a use of funds, right? So this isn't these folks that are saying, hey, we need this much and I'm going to keep 2/3 and then we'll make a few little handouts and hand them out. It's not what this is about. Okay.
Yeah.
A banana.
No, these projects are far reaching. They have humanitarian elements to them. They go into the college campuses. I mean, there's hundreds of individuals involved already, and they're movers and shakers in that community. So here we have one example, and in all of them, there's no one more important than the other within these projects. These are opportunities for the Epic community to have interaction globally that will then be shared platforms, not just for exchanging Epic with one another, but actual tangible resources, connecting businesses globally and helping bring resource and needed provisions for people around the world, but also building our network for when we need to exchange within those provisions as well. Right. There's a lot to unpack in that, but to not belabor the point or belabor this is how simple this is, Uncle. With the community size listening right now, if every individual would just give 5 coins, 5 Epic Cash coins.
Yeah.
We can meet all these projects and have a little bit left over for the next project we present.
Okay.
5. Not 500, 5.
Yeah. Let me ask you this though. That sounds great, but unless people know how to donate those 5 or where to donate those 5, then people just won't donate. So can you help us with that, or is that somewhere in the document?
Correct. At the base of the document is the VEET address that we're putting together the collections of this right there, the donate to, which is that's been built inside the Epic Everywhere platform. And again, very simple. And one I would like to see, and I know the Epic community would love to see, where we have this project this time, where everybody puts their oar in the water, and all we're asking for is basically one little paddle, one swing of your oar with 5 coins. If we do this, I believe we'll all see how light this weight is, and how much we can reproduce it. You understand how we can do this again. Now think about when this donation that we're giving to, it goes so deep into what we're building, but beyond what it goes into what we're building, the deepness of being able to connect product and vendor with that, immediate value in the whole ecosystem. It also gives us the availability to network globally, to build, a greater node presence, which we have an amazing 160 countries now, and then begin to trade with each other, sharing our products and sharing our resources, not just Epic, but now we're having tangible goods being exchanged globally. I think when you connect that dot and realize that's what we're investing into, this isn't getting exchanged. Unlike, I guess what I'm saying, Uncle, unlike any other projects, it's Epic moving Epic back to Epic.
It's cool.
Does that make sense? That's why this is a big deal. And I want the community to hear that. This is Epic getting resources, tangible resources, food and marketing materials and items, and then it returning back to Epic. Think about that.
I just sent 100 Epic to that address. Let's get the party started, everyone. Let's get the party started.
Yeah,
now,
come on, man.
Now I will tell you that my copy and paste, I had to move the 7 back to it gave me an error, but that could have just been me how I copied and pasted it. But let's get the party started. It's right there. I dropped it into the I'm gonna actually pin this comment, pin the message. So that address will be right there at the top. And everybody, let's just show what we are made of, what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, fine. You just put in the order for 20 people. And that's what I was going to say. We would like this to be a test run of our community in a way it's not the same, 100 or so folks. We're wanting to see like all 5,000 of us put in 5. Thank you for the kickoff of that. I was kicking in 100 as well, but I'm doing that because I have kids. I'm doing it for my kids as well. I'm putting their 5 coins in as well.
Excellent. Well, I'm doing it for all of the kids that I don't know I have. I'm kidding.
There you go. Come on.
So, those 20 kids, you owe me. I'm kidding, everybody. Okay, so where can people go to find this document and read this document?
So we'll put it into the community group there at on the Telegram, and we'll share it in the I guess is it Community 1? Is that what it is? Community 01 or something?
I don't know. Maybe Mother Trucker, if you're in the
I'll get with them on that.
Okay.
We'll make sure it hits that and the global platforms as well.
Yeah. And let's see who Epic Cash, is it Turkey? I apologize for the typos in this document. No apologies necessary. I wanted to be able to call it out, saying that ultimately, we have lots of great writers who can edit these things or whatever, but I admire the fact that you did this. If you're from Turkey, if I'm reading your handle right,
right.
If I had to present a proposal in your language, I guarantee you would look at it and say, this guy graduated from junior high, So no, it's not a knock. It's a admiration. So and hey, guess what? Jonathan?
Go for it.
When I made that transaction with Mike Adams, that you witnessed, that cost less than a penny. Do you know how much it costs today to send $100 of BTC to any other kind of wallet or an exchange? Do you know?
I don't know. I would assume like what, $40?
It's $24.
Okay, $24. Yeah, I didn't know.
That was a couple of days ago anyway.
Yeah.
And these ordinals and now there are these meme coins that are riding on the BTC blockchain. It's taking forever. Like Binance had to stop withdrawals until they figured this crap out, because it's like literally bringing that blockchain to a screeching halt.
Oh yeah.
And
so it's funny to see. I mean, I don't know if we can get into this, but it was funny to see the Lightning platform, how many transactions were on hold the other day. Did you see that the memo?
No.
There was some information. I want to say there was like, don't quote me, but I think it was like 1,800 or something backed up. There was a backup on the quote unquote Lightning exchange, meaning what the very thing they said was going to be.
I know.
I'm not laughing because I can't imagine being the tech guys behind that, trying to promote something it's not going to work.
It doesn't work.
It can't work. It can't work.
Yes.
Technically speaking, right now it can't work, and they know it. If they were just honest with the numbers and the time frames, can't work.
In my mind, and Leia's not going to watch this, so I'm just telling you when I go down there and speak with her, and I believe we're going to have the opportunity, she and her brother, to join me for dinner and just talk things through. And, I want to put out there that you have 2 rocket ships to the moon, that have catapulted you based upon your book. And because you are so brave, I believe fortune favors the brave, right? And so
Right.
I would propose to her, why don't you become the first?
Yeah.
See, who steps up and honestly discerns the points that we're going to go through. Thank you, Tillman. Shout out Tillman. And if indeed you agree that Epic Cash is more Bitcoin than BTC is,
Yeah.
based upon the white paper, there's no shame in actually saying, got it wrong.
Yeah. Or just welcome to the update. Take all the emotion aside. Set all the emotion aside. I mean, again, I respect tech. Before Bitcoin, nobody thought of digital currency.
That's right.
Think about that brain, or the brains behind. That was supernatural. That transcends where you're at. So I'm like, my hand clap. Huge kudos. Amazing. Thank you for the freedom that it provided in the beginning, and the freedom of thought. So let's set those emotions aside and go, okay, now it's time to look at facts. And I'm not bashing anything. I'm saying this works and this doesn't work. There's some things right now that Bitcoin still carries and going to carry because of its nostalgia, its longevity. It's going to carry the weight of some of these things naturally.
Yes.
For a period of time right now. What we're saying is tech today has been updated and continues to update. Those that can't move with the tech are gonna struggle. And we know some of these major names, older tech, they're going to struggle just like they are right now. They're currently looking and seeing the limitations.
I'm not going to say this out loud, but I really believe that when you do a fair paired comparison of the tech, to stand on the hill of its Bitcoin or its shit coins, at least when you compare against Epic Cash, I believe that the people who are those, vitriolic maxis, they're either paid or they're possessed, frankly. And or they don't know. Like, they don't really understand. Just because I have a big platform and a personality. Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't necessarily mean I understand the technicals.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Say what we've provided for the average reader and examiner that wants to understand the technicals, not just behind Epic Cash, but behind the reasons why these work and these platforms work and these don't work now in the updated tech. We've provided that information simply not to bash. We're not bashing anybody. We're saying we can utilize all these different tech. We're saying we utilize them all,
right?
And we can operate alongside. But obviously, you're going to, when you start to see one rise because of superiority of being able to transition as necessary and needed.
Yes,
there is no questions at that point. It's not personal. That's what I was trying to say. It's not emotional or personal here. Look, it's literally like, oh, this is operational. That's not.
1 cent, $84.
Yeah, right.
Sales. You are what your record says you are. You're not going to ever scale Bitcoin. Yoga says this. I think it's very, very funny that Bitcoin is too what is it? Bitcoin is too slow. No, Bitcoin is too expensive to buy Coke. And Bitcoin is not private enough to buy Coke. So if you want to buy a can of Coke, you're not going to pay anywhere from $3 to $84 transaction fee and wait for 30 minutes, right? It's never going to happen. Point of sale, and nobody's using Lightning, even though it has layers, right? Yeah. That's but it's
0.3%. That's 0.3%, not 1.003.
That's right.
It's 0.03%.
And then it's not private enough to buy Coke, because if you do, you're going to get arrested, because it is a surveillance chain. It is a public blockchain. Public is not private. Your transactions are not private. And reminds me, I gotta speak with a gentleman who's preparing some. Went through an exercise and found a lot of famous people's Bitcoin deposit addresses, and we're doing the forensics, being able to. I'd love to be able to just bring files to Leia and be able to say, look, Mark Cuban, we had his address here. Look at that. There's 30 pages of everything about his financial dealings with, this cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
And I
right
think
on.
it's very, very eye-opening. Or it should be, right?
Well, I can't wait for that to hit the waves, man. The DNA of Bitcoin and those interviews, again, some of the heaviest hitters as far as public personas go, we have had the conversations with them now. And in the midst of those conversations, it's great to see in those interviews them recognizing, because these individuals have the availability to take the emotions out of it and go, wow, I'm going to take a deeper look now. Right. And thank you for making me and helping me recognize where some of these where some of the holes are in the other tech. And again, we're recognizing the holes in our own and correcting them.
That's right.
The real question is, can the others do that? And the answer to that's no. That's a big deal to me. Yeah. They can't move along. They have to put a sidecar on everything they do.
Yeah.
Ours is actually created within the ecosystem, and the entire ecosystem operates in a way that alters according to the updated tech.
Can you give a little bit of insight? Because really what people don't know that you're focused on is, can you describe the problems that people or companies with a shit ton of money have that are worldwide conglomerates? Can you just educate this on what their problem is today and what our vision is for how we'll be able to help them?
Yeah, sure. There's obviously we're in a transition phase. You're starting to see now your major markets as far as communications goes. So headline news, those that are being paid to promote messages, and it's okay. I'm not. This isn't on a conspiracy side of things. I'm talking about the fact of how mass communication gets spread globally. So the reason why all of a sudden you're starting to hear about CBDCs, you're starting to hear about FedNow, you're starting to hear about these programs is because there has been multiple nations and NATO group nations that have they made a decision that they are going to operate not just with one currency being the backing currency for the global trades. So when you start to hear about like the MIF, the Internet, IMF, and MIS, these different groups that are implementing structures that give countries and major corporations, oil, commodity trades, major stock market movements, they're giving the options for people to be able to navigate the purchasing of those commodities or the shipments of those goods and services back and forth, and the moving of money.
Yeah.
Because the dollar is not going to be the only currency. They didn't wipe it out completely. They just said, we're not going to make it the only currency. We're going to accept like the yen or the shekel. They're accepting. They're gonna build these platforms where it has multiple acceptances. What then happens is you have a conglomerate of values. Remember, if you have one value to base it off of, like the gold standard was, it was easy to go, oh, we get this many this much commodity, this much trade, this is the spread. Everybody's taking their, happy. But now that you have these multiple infusions, if you will, to make one pool, obviously you're going to have a numerous spreads of value that has to be calculated to ensure that particular economy is backing. So what they're doing is establishing, what CBDC's goal is to establish a global value, right? A global currency trading value that could then operate. In fact, there's a project called Project Icebreaker, which I believe is on the it's on the IMF's website or the BIS, .web or whatever. It's your it's your global corporation banking systems. They ran a test between, I think it was Turkey, actually, now that we say that, Turkey and Israel, where the monies, the different monies met in the middle, and then they exchanged in real time digitally on the platform so that the countries could accept the transaction and get it in value to themselves to be able to continue to obviously operate their governments. So what we're in that transition phase right now is seeing that is the creation of digital platforms in a way that doesn't just operate peer to peer, but now is going to be operating nation to nation. And then of course, globally, it will eventually establish a global economics. And this is important to recognize the monetary system, the international monetary system that gets set up for United Nations transactions or NATO transactions. That system is what, then delegates how banks operate globally as well, and investments that are, worldwide trading platforms. So your stock markets. So because they're already starting to delegate it this way, remember, it's going to make its way to you and I.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a conspiracy. The reason why July, they're kicking off the Fed Now CBDC project, which we all know doesn't have the tech yet to fully handle everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
But they're giving us a direction and saying, hey, this is where we're going.
Yeah, it's their roadmap.
This is the roadmap. This is where it's going.
And that roadmap's going to ultimately get to a level to where you're going to have to trade in your paper cash, right? For
no, they're just going to tell you. They're going to tell you that, hey, I would assume that it'll be a dollar for dollar exchange. Just kind of like you see USDT in the coin market for those that are operating in crypto. That dollar for dollar match is what we'll get in the beginning, and they're just going to say, hey, your money is being replaced in the bank now with digital currency.
Right. Well, I think
they're smart contract.
I think they're going to sweeten the pot a little bit so that they can get all of the NPCs. What do you mean? Yeah. Like if I put $1, I'll get $1.10 worth of.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you'll get incentives. There's going to be things like all of our major purchases will be incentivized. So if you buy your next car, or you buy, if you start to use it at the grocery stores, you're going to get another 20% off for using it. Here's the one going to be great in the beginning, by the way. That'll be great.
Here's the one that I'm going to love because of actually I've been interested in this, and it grosses me. Actually, it grosses me. I had a really good steak a couple of days ago, that I know was the real thing, but they are printing these 3D steaks now.
Oh yeah.
That is just it. People can't tell the difference.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
The fat and everything is just like perfect, right? And the taste and everything. And it saddens me because I love me some ribeye.
Right.
And it's like, if ever some of these restaurants do that, hey, let's save, we can save 50% cost of goods, right? And so
by giving us insect steaks.
Yeah. But I think at the grocery store, what's going to happen is people will be incentivized, and the media machine will talk about how it's actually this is all natural and it's actually way better for you and saves the environment. And you know what? They may even charge more for it. Come to think of it.
Let's just get our own cows, bro. Have your own cow.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Everybody, you need to acquire as much Epic Cash as you can so you can go buy a ranch. Not from a pump and dump coin like Jeff Berwick, peace be upon him. But no, we do it
you don't even have to get rid of your Epic. Coming to us, be the bank of youth coming soon enough.
100%.
All that's happening. Hold on to your Epic. I wouldn't get rid of it. I would be holding on and use it to be able to lend to yourself. Be your own bank.
That's right. That's right around the corner. Well, I have to tell you,
I gotta jump, bro.
I'm a little bit sad that it took us this long to actually just do a one-on-one. This was great. I love your energy. I hope you're open to doing more because this was fun for me.
That was fun for me, man. Thanks for having me on, bro.
All right.
Honored. I'm honored.
See you soon, bro. Okay, everybody. Thank you in the chat. That was great. I hope you enjoyed Jonathan. He is just he's an amazing human being. Happens to live right in my backyard, or I live in his, whichever way you want to look at it. So that's nice. Our families are going to be getting together in a couple of weeks on the water in Tampa Bay. So I'm really excited about that. Yoga Bear's coming up too. Yoga Bear. What am I saying? Yoga Dude. He promised he would do yoga on the bow and teach us, the downward dog or something. I don't know. Okay, everyone. I think it's time for me to just